Hello and thanks for watching my video. Today is a video that I'm going to be talking about PvP, and as you can see I have achieved Legendary. I have literally just achieved Legendary, and I wanted to give my thoughts on PvP Season 3. So as you can see, these are my statistics. You can see here I've actually been on a 4-game win streak, so that's taken me into Legendary. I've got the Legendary icon here, so you can see now I actually have it above my head. Look, it's the first time I've had Diamond the first 2 seasons, and finally I decided this season I would push for Legendary. And 111 games, 79 wins. Pretty good win ratio, to be fair. Generally it's around about 70-odd%. I've found that this particular character that I've been running, if you actually look at my game history, apart from ignoring the custom arena games, generally I've been playing on this warrior build, which is a warrior build, the mace bow that I put on my channel like a week ago, and this has been extremely useful. A lot of people finding this really fantastic build to run, really helpful, really easy to learn, and very good rotations. So you can see here, let's talk about the start of the season. So the start of the season, because I was in Diamond last season, you can see here the previous season I got to here. What it was, I actually got to here pretty much a month before the end of the season, and I gave up. I said, look, I'm not going to grind all the way to Legendary this time. I'm happy at Diamond. And I stayed there. A lot of people, came in and overtook me and became Legendary, and I will admit I was a little bit envious of that. But this season I thought, you know what, I'm going to change it. And I wasn't really enjoying Season 2, to be fair. It took a lot of grinding to get out of Ruby. And this time around, I've actually, I found a very good build that I've enjoyed and worked well. The rotations, I've pretty much been able to 1v1 anybody. And generally, I've been having a lot of fun. So you can see again that we look at the league. I'm now Legendary, pretty impressive. The biggest win streak I had, I think, was 16 or 17 games in a row. That got me through Ruby and into Diamond really quickly, remarkably. But being in Diamond from last season, I actually started in Sapphire, which really for me was a fundamental huge benefit for this season, because straight away you're playing very balanced matches. I found this season I really didn't have too many unbalanced matches at all. Generally a lot of people knew what they were doing, so starting in Sapphire was a really good change for ArenaNet. For those people that were in Legendary or Diamond, they would start in Sapphire. If you were in Ruby or Sapphire, you would start in Emerald. And if you were in, I think it was, if you were in Emerald or Amber, you'd start getting Amber. So, how I found this season, a lot more enjoyable than last season. Last season, I put up a video where I just slated everything. Maybe I was just a little bit salty. But generally, I didn't enjoy Season 2. Season 3, I've enjoyed a lot more. I think the balance between classes is there are classes that they fit a certain role. Elementalists will generally be bunkers. Mesmers, there aren't too many Mesmers out there. Generally they'll be the Condi Mesmer. The Mesmer I feel a little bit removed from what it was in Season 1 and Season 2, which I think is a good thing. Necromancers are still pretty good. They're very good condition damage. They've got a lot of minions. They're always ones that you should focus first to take out, which is why generally my team always targets the Necromancer, because they're dangerous. You've got the Ranger, which is generally the Druid healer builds. They can be quite bunkerish. The Engineers, very solid builds. It can be attack and defensive. Very difficult to work out what you're playing against with an Engineer. Thieves, again, interesting place. You can be very stealthy and come out and attack you. So Thieves, I think Thieves for me is a big. Basically, when you come up against a Thief, you can really tell how well a person knows that particular class, because good Thieves can take you out. Bad Thieves, you can easily fight them. Revenants are in an okay position. I think they're a little bit less powered than they were in Season 2, but the boons that they can give out, they can really generate that massive support for the rest of their team. Warriors have really been bumped up. The last season, nobody ever ran a Warrior. It was just the worst class, and now it's actually a pretty solid class. Warriors are a very good class to have. Get those interrupts, can hold a point, but they can still be taken out. And so Warrior for me, I think, maybe a little bit tad overpowered in certain aspects. Maybe you just need to reduce a couple of cooldowns, perhaps. But for me, I think Warrior is in a very good place right now. Then we've got the Guardian. The Guardian had been suffering a lot, compared to what it was in Season 1. but I still think Guardians have a place in PvP right now. And for me, that shows you that each class has a specific role that they want to play, that they can play. And for me, I feel that the balance, people always moan about the balance. I actually think the balance is quite good. I don't think that there's anything too overpowered. I think that people, no matter what you are, if you're a kind of bunker ellie, against taking on a druid, it's going to end in a bit of a stalemate. But if you're a thief and you come up against an ellie, you have that ability to spike them down and can take them out. However, if you're a dragon hunter, you might be able to take out a thief with your traps. And so, each class has a bit of a weakness against certain other classes, and that's how it should be. So that's how I found the balance of the whole season. Matchmaking's been very, very good. I think we've been very, very leveled up, and I've been enjoying that a lot. And yeah, I found going through the win streak system, I've definitely found a lot better this season than the rest of the other two seasons. So here we go. This is me going to get my legendary. You can lose pips and you can lose tiers. Division repeatable, and so I get legendary. So there we go, and I get 25 PvP tickets, 5 gold, 5 transmutation charges, and plenty of shards. So there we go, guys. That is me in legendary. I wanted to share it with you because, again, it's something that I've not. The last 2 seasons I've been diamond, and so this season, as you can see, I think if I open my bank, I actually have the ascension. So that's the legendary back piece. And that's stat selectable. Rather the benefits, actually, if you've got the stats here, you can, although I've got it on berserkers, you can go vipers, trailblazers, wanderers, minstrels, crusader, marauder, commanders. Big thing for the mesmers out there who run chrono tank in raids. This is a fantastic thing to get. These legendary back pieces really give you that stat option that you don't get with regular ascended gear. So with ascended sort of back pieces in certain regards. So generally, I've found the PvP season this season been very much more enjoyable. Obviously, a lot of people will come up and say, "Well, I didn't enjoy this season. For whatever reason, they weren't happy with the meta. They didn't particularly like a certain way the it plays." I've been in that situation, and I'll give you an example for engineer. I used to, if you actually look at my career stats, my lifetime stats, the character I've played most is the engineer. But I don't play engineer that much anymore, and the reason why is because the engineer when I was playing, one, was either a turret engie build, which was pretty meta when that was out, but it was also a condi meta. Before the turrets were brought in, I used to play the ability with grenades. I used to love throwing grenades, putting those condis on people, but they reduced the range of grenade throwing, and it really nerfed the grenade kit. And so I don't really play engineer anymore. I don't like the scrapper. It's just my style. I don't like the way the style is. And it's actually one of the weaknesses. I really should learn scrapper, because when I come up against the scrapper, I'm still a bit confused as to what their rotation is going to be, because I don't know how it works. So I found engineer, I'm not a big fan of the way the scrapper works, but maybe I should actually get used to that, because then it make me a better player to counter them. But generally, you see warrior, I've really bumped up my stats in terms of winning. But generally now I've been having a lot more fun. You can see here some of the wins that I've been having. I had 4 wins in a row. And again, if you actually look at the difference, it's been pretty solid, convincing victories. 500 to 200 in the last 4 matches. Really enjoyable. I've had a lot of fun in the PvP season this time. But once I've gotten to Legendary, do I carry on? It's, do I go, because every tier you get 1.5 gold. I don't know if I really want to keep going on and on and on. I think I'm just going to say, look, I've achieved my PvP season a month before the end of the season. I've hit Legendary. I've done it in 111 games. So I've gone from Sapphire to Legendary in 111 games, which I'm happy with. But again, if you actually think about it realistically in terms of time, if you don't have the opportunity to play them out of PvP, 111 games. So let's break it down. If you actually look at my matches, how long this would actually be. So you've got an average of 9 minutes, ignoring the custom arena ones. You can see here, ranked match, 10 minutes, 9 minutes. So if we say we've got an average of 9 minutes, okay, 9-minute match, obviously the higher you get, the more competitive it's going to be. So an average of 9 minutes a match. All right, well, you've got to also say a minute as well for while you're waiting in the match. So that's 10 minutes a match. And if we actually have a look at the average queue time, it's, if we actually go in, it's around 2 minutes. So it's, if we come out of that, so we'll call it 3 minutes for argument's sake. So 3 minutes queue time if that actually worked properly, if you know, on average. So you're talking a 13-minute average for doing every single match. So again, we look at our stats and we say, okay, well, we've played 111 matches. So how many, what is that actually going to work out to be? Well, that's going to be quite significant because 111 matches, well, that'll be, you know, times, what we're going to do, 111 matches, and we're going to times that by 13 for the minutes, and then we'll divide that by, so we times that by 113 minutes, sorry, not 113, we'll times that by 13 minutes, so it's 111 times 13, it gives us 1443, we divide that by 60 for the number of hours, so it takes us 24.05 hours, so that's a whole day's worth of play for me to get to Legendary. So if you want to plan it out, if you say, okay, well, I'll play an hour of PvP a day, that will take you 24 days. Obviously, there's a 2-month season, so even if you play half an hour of PvP a day, you should be able to get from Sapphire to Legendary. You know, if you're on my sort of level. Some people will be a lot quicker, some people a lot slower. So that is, for me, some of the stats I think that's been interesting and very useful for people to realise about the season. And I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. You know, what's your been experience of PvP in Season 3? How have you found it compared to Season 1 and Season 2? Again, for me, I felt it was better than Season 1 in terms of the meta, better in Season 2 in terms of the matchmaking, and the meta, in my opinion, the meta as well. I think Season 3 has achieved a very good balance right now. The only downside, I think, is it's a little bit too easy to get to Legendary, and, you know, you can see, just if we look around here, although I say that, there aren't too many Legendaries, and there is quite a big spread. You can see Amber, you've got Sapphire, you've got Emerald, you've got Ruby, you know, there are a number of different, you can see the variation in the spread. A lot of people in Ruby still. So it is quite a big spread demand, and there aren't too many people that have gone all the way for Legendary, but I do think it's a bit easier. You will see a lot more Legendaries at the end of this season. Anyway, that's my thoughts on PvP for this season. Please let me know in the comment section any of your thoughts, and I'll see you on the next one.